Brodes Media.
I tried telling you Howie Roseman doesn't sleep. You never know what you're going to get when you wake up in the morning with this GM. Saquon Barkley, extended for 2 years. What's the number? 41.2 mil? Listen, I have a rule. You don't have to follow my rule, but it's a lot easier in life if you do. You do not try and figure out what Spot Track has on their website. You don't go to overthecap.com and try and do all the math. Yo, you're the same guy that struggled with the fucking triangle and geometry and any of those other math classes you had to take in college and high school. Yeah, you're going to figure out what Howie Roseman's doing with the money in the NFL? Please. Algebra. That's the word I couldn't think about. You're trying to punch numbers the way Howie Roseman does to be the best general manager in all of sports. You'll never figure it out. Just know this. It all benefits the birds. It's that simple. Not every fan base has the luxury of being able to kick back, chill, relax, and just trust the man in charge. Howie gets out in front of contracts. He signs people way early because the last thing you want to do is wait. You want to be the Bengals? You want to be the Cowboys and pay Dak Prescott $60 million. He's not worth half of that. Yeah, Jalen Hurts had a $13 million cap hit last season. When that contract was signed, do you know how many people mocked the Eagles? They gave how much to who? They paid Jalen what? You're an idiot. You're just a flat-out idiot. Howie Roseman doesn't wait for the market to be set and then follow suit. That's how you get your ass in trouble. You do things way earlier. You do things way prior. And then, by the way, when the cap goes up, you also get the benefit when you restructure. You also get the benefit. It's not bizarre that Jeff McClain of the Inquirer, 8 minutes after the news broke by Adam Schefter that this was going down, don't be surprised if Lane Johnson restructures his deal. This is how, when other fan bases look at the Eagles in the Super Bowl and they wonder, how in the world do they have AJ and Devontae signed? Go after Saquon Barkley. Jalen's paid. You got someone like CJ DJ in free agency. How do you get the left side of your line paid the way they're paid? Lane Johnson, the best right tackle in all of football. How do you do it? This is how you do it. So when we debate what's next, Zach Bond, Myles Garrett, can you find a way to squeeze back a Darius Slay? How do you do it? This is how you do it. You make decisions like this. It's this simple. It keeps cap space fluid and controllable. It rewards players up front with cash. And it's noticed by agents and players. Myles Garrett! You paying attention? Those are 3 factors of making these type of decisions. And that's part of the magic that we always reference when it comes to the big man upstairs. Not Jesus. Howie. We'll talk more about this. I mean, Howie Roseman is talking about sex on podcast. That's how much he's in his bag, and that's how much he's feeling himself, and that's how horny he is for more titles, which makes me happy because I'm horny thinking about more Super Bowls, if I'm being honest. I'm also excited when I think about how great my lawn looks, okay? And if you're stressing about your lawn this spring, my great friends at Green Lawn Fertilizing can help. They are based in the Philadelphia area, and they are best in the market. Experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, and extremely knowledgeable. They are the Howie Roseman of fertilizing, okay? They've created a custom blend that will have your lawn recovering from the drought that we had last season. The first round is super important to lay the groundwork for the rest of the season. So they want people starting now. They are offering, listen to this offer, 2 free treatments plus 10% off for the early birds. Green Lawn Fertilizing officially started treating lawns on Monday. So for them, spring is here. Make sure you check out the link in the description, which will take you right to their website through my link. So it'll tell them that Brodes sent you. You sign up. My lawn, fellas, ladies, my lawn. It's the most beautiful thing my eyes have ever seen. Your lawn can look the same. Make sure you join the Green Lawn Fertilizing family. It's the best decision I've ever made. You know what's funny? You all know that I'm a sports talk junkie, right? I listen to it 24/7, essentially. All different towns, not just here in Philly. I'm saying I like to listen to outside cities all the time. The other day, I was just randomly listening to New York Sports Talk, and they were pissed off that Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson are looking for bigger contract, or excuse me, looking for extensions with their contracts, even though they have a few years left. And I'm laughing as I'm driving. This is prior to even knowing that Saquon was going to get hit with his extension. I'm laughing, thinking in the back of my mind, well, that's the difference. You all want Howie, right? You thought Joe Douglas was going to be the next coming of Howie, right? Because of the relationship, and you kick his ass to the curb. But the truth is, that's what you do. Now, maybe you don't like Sauce Gardner. Maybe you don't like Garrett Wilson. That's a different discussion, which I think Garrett Wilson can play. I know people are a little disappointed in how the Sauce Gardner experience has went, but, you know, they're like, oh, he's got 2 years left. Shut up and go play, and blah, blah, blah. Then, WFAN's afternoon show, which has Tiki Barber on it and all, you know, they were all confused. What is going? Howie's doing? Eagles are what? I don't get it. Why would you give Saquon that money? I sit back and I laugh. I sit back and I find humor in it. This is why one team is constantly in the fight for the NFC. This is why one team has been to how many Super Bowls since 2017? 3, with 2 titles. And we're not going anywhere. And the Giants are in the basement looking to bring in Aaron Rodgers. They are embarrassing. And the Jets, embarrassing. Although I am rooting for their new coach because I do like him. And I want to see him succeed. Aaron Glenn. So we'll see how that all works out and all, but you see the difference here? I love this. And this is more than just rewarding somebody who ended up bringing you a championship. This is locking up a staple. Remember when I was talking about Zach Bond? Not that the Eagles won't look to recover and get Zach Bond here, because I think they will. I think that is a serious goal of theirs. And the purpose of this offseason is to see if you can get him back. That is at the top of the list of Howie Roseman's offseason. So I don't want to make it seem like Zach Bond is an automatic goner and you shouldn't consider him. But, you know, for him to even test the market, my stance was, normally, Howie, if you are a guy, if you are a real important piece to the fabric of who you are and your DNA and personality as a player and a football guy and as a person and all of that, you don't even test the waters. Not that they don't like Bond. They like Bond. But staples, Lane Johnson, Mailata, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. You extend them plenty in advance, so it's not even a discussion. So there's no drama. There wasn't one source leaking, hey, it seems like Saquon Barkley wants more dough. This didn't even get to the public. It didn't get into the media's eyes. They just worked on it behind the scenes. Bada bing, bada boom. We do not play those games. And that's how you're supposed to handle staples. That's why Lane Johnson is willing to sit down with Howie every single time it comes to renegotiating, because he's going to get taken care of. When you take care of your guys, there is something to be said about it being on everybody's radar. And it is a helpful tool and a selling point when you are looking in to bring free agents. See how it goes here? You become one of us. It's simple. You win, you get paid. You work with us a little bit with some flexibility so we can continue to sign free agents, so we can give other guys their money too, but it's all for the long goal here. You know, WWE just had an awesome elimination chamber on Saturday, and I don't know how many fans are die-hard WWE fans, but you don't really need to be to see what happened with John Cena. It was all over social media. And the way it works is there's long-term booking. That moment of John Cena turning heel on Cody Rhodes with The Rock in the ring, that didn't just happen. That seed was planted 5, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Even if it was another premium live event where The Rock comes out and does something for 3 seconds and then walks off into the backstage again. And he made one hand gesture. It's all about long-term booking. And eventually, the story will come together where when John Cena turns, you go, holy shit! Well, you know what this is? This is long-term booking. Howie Roseman is putting this together, and then when you see the roster at the end of the year, when you watch the drafting go down, when you see what he does in free agency, who he brings back, who he allows to walk, who he trades for, and then signs, nod, nod, wink, wink, yo, Myles Garrett, can't wait to see you in an Eagles uniform. You see the story get completed. But this is all part of the process, and this is the long-term booking. I'm in love that Howie Roseman is ours. I mean that. I really do. All right, so why don't we take a listen to Howie? I mentioned Howie Roseman and sex, which is something I never really thought I'd ever say on a show, but I did. He was on Todd McShay and his podcast. This is what he said about what it feels like to win a championship. Take a listen to the best GM to ever exist and walk planet Earth.
Is this PG rated or PG-13?
Whatever you want.
Yeah. So I'd say like the first one's almost like, can I say this, Bob?
Yes,
can we delete this? Is this live? You don't know what I'm saying? You don't know what
this is the best part. You can be you.
It's almost like the first time you have sex. You're so glad you had sex. It's not even the quality of it. The second time,
it's actually great.
The second time, it's like, wow, I could actually have fun and enjoy this. And so I would say, and Bob just had sex for his first time.
I love it. Even throwing in a little chirp there at the end, it sounded like. I don't know who Bob is that he pointed to, or did he say Rob? I don't know. I don't know who he pointed to. But listen, and that's the beauty of it. So here's the truth. I'm a married man. I've had my fun, okay? I know what I'm doing in the bedroom. The more and more you do it, you learn more about it. You have a better perspective. You can get into different moves. Trial and error, if you will, with the misses. How we learned in 2017 after that in the offseason. But now that you are winning again, and you have this constant winning, and you're looking at these off seasons, and you're applying your knowledge to your craft, he's only going to get better. He's only getting more experienced. You're right, Howie. It does get more fun. It's no longer, hey, it went in. Hey, I did it. Can't wait to tell my boys. Now it's, all right, let's intensify this puppy. Let's see what I'm working with now with my moves. All right, that worked. That didn't work. This, that, the other. I don't know where the hell this conversation's going, but I think you get my point. that Howie Roseman is just going to continue to be fun, all right, to have fun, enjoy this, and to learn what to do. And the best way to kind of put this together is last year, the biggest offseason move was what? Wow, the Philadelphia Eagles landed Saquon Barkley. And what did that mean? Where did that take them? He was the reason why you won a Super Bowl, damn it! He was the main focus of your team. Doesn't take away from Jalen, doesn't take away from Nick, doesn't take away from AJ, doesn't take away from Quinion, doesn't take away from Coop, doesn't take away from Jalen Carter, doesn't take away from BG, especially before he got injured, doesn't take away from Nolan Smith, doesn't take away from anybody. But it's obvious that Spags, it impacted the game so much. The main focus was Saquon Barkley. That dictated the way that Super Bowl and every game was going to play out. It's just funny that when the Commanders say, this guy can't beat us, you take it 60 to the fucking house and spit in their mouth on the first offensive play of the game for you. Don't forget about that. They go on this long drive. They go for it on some fourth down, third downs. They get some conversions. They kick a field goal like a loser. And then the first touch, here's Saquon to the house. It's so great. It's so great. And then he followed that up in the divisional round with an epic, iconic Philadelphia Eagle moment, punching himself in the face, scoring a touchdown. Punching himself in the face because he's so excited and losing control of his body. There's nothing like this, man. That was the biggest move of the offseason. Myles Garrett doesn't come around every often. The fact that he is available, forget what the Cleveland Browns are saying. Of course, publicly, for leverage purposes, they're going to say that they have no thought of trading him. Because when people pick up the phone and you go, nope, then maybe they put together a bigger package. Although, trying to think you'd fleece Howie Roseman is the most hysterical comment in the history of the NFL. Oh, yeah. It's embarrassing to think you playing Tommy Toughnuts would actually force Howie to give up too much or to overpay, even though there's no such thing as overpaying for a Myles Garrett, by the way. All of this to say that Howie does learn the second go-around of winning a championship. Saquon Barkley was a game wrecker on the offensive side. You go make it happen, you go win a title. Myles Garrett, game changer on the defensive side. You go make it happen, you go win a title. And I mean that. I've already emphasized this before, but I'm going to do it again because I need it to hit. I need this to be flowing in your bloodstream. I want you to be thinking about me in this comment when you're making your coffee every morning the rest of the week. So when you're hitting that K-Cup or you're going to Dunkin' or you're making your own little cold brew at home, you got your little vanilla whatever, a straw, whatever. I don't know how you do it, but whenever you're drinking your coffee, think about this. Nolan Smith had about 10 sacks last year, and he was incredible. Myles Garrett in an Eagles uniform next to Jalen Carter. We're talking Reggie White type stuff. Reggie White in 12 games had 20-plus sacks. That's the level Myles Garrett can contribute. And if he was able to play 4 playoff games after a 16-sack regular season, which is not out of the question, he'd be getting 20-plus sacks in a season. Postseason and regular season combined, that's double Nolan Smith, and Nolan Smith was fucking awesome. Nolan Smith was fucking incredible. Imagine getting double of Nolan Smith from one human being. That's Myles Garrett. If Nolan Smith was incredible, what would that mean about Myles Garrett then? Think about that statement every second of your life. Every second of you waking up in the morning and preparing for work. Until Myles Garrett is no longer a Cleveland Brown and until we see where his next destination is. And if you feel you don't want him, we don't need him, it's not worth it, we've won without him. Every year is different. You do need to tweak. You do need to add. You do need to change things up here and there. You can't just assume you're going to run it back with the same team and, just losing Josh Sweat and Nolan Smith and Milton Williams and, maybe picking up a couple of draft picks and then maybe asking Jalix Hunt to be Josh Sweat and think this thing is just going to be perfect again. You still have to take some serious swings. You still have to make some serious statements. You got to be the aggressor. Wow, the team that just won the Super Bowl got better by bringing in a Hall of Famer. The rich got richer. That's what it needs to be if you're going to consistently compete and if you're going to be a top horse again. So no sitting back, no resting, no thinking it's so easy to just walk on in to another season and it's just going to be all the same. You need to still have that killer mentality. That makes a statement to your locker. Forget the league, which I like what that does too, because people should be afraid of you. Forget the league for a second. What does that say to Jalen? What does that say to Jalen Carter? What does that say to Q? What does that say to every man involved in that locker room? What does that say to Nick? Hey, that extension's coming to you too, buddy. But let's go get another one. Let's go win another championship now. We brought in Myles Garrett to do it again. We're not satisfied. I love it. I want it. I demand it. Also, I want to touch on this with the Slay thing because I think it's interesting. Do you think winning the championship makes it easier or tougher to walk out the door? Because in one way, you could see it where it would be easier for Darius Slay because when 2023 almost happened and he almost went to the Ravens, there was still a job to be finished, and he never finished that yet. So when Big Dom calls him up and mentions, we still got work to do here, I think it's an easy sell. The only thing that I think could be really disappointing from a Darius Slay angle is if he leaves and, the Ben Johnson loss is big, the Aaron Glenn loss is big, and there is a retooling in the coaching staff for the Lions. They have not a bad year, but maybe not the best team in the NFC type year, and you missed a chance to go out with 2 straight bowls. What if the Eagles go back-to-back and, it's awesome. It's a big deal to go from 0 to 1. You become a champion, it's awesome. But think about the difference between having 1 or 2. Imagine going to the park with your kids and your wife, and you got 2 of those bad boys on your fit. Now we're going to the park with Super Bowl rings. But come on, you have 2 on your display case when you're having a party on Friday night and your friends and family are coming over. You got 2 on the display case. 2. What if you can go out on a back-to-back note? I know that would make my head spin, and I'd rather take my chance with the Birds. Like, for example, if you stay with the Eagles and the Lions win one, I think it's easier to put your head down at night. First off, the Lions winning a Super Bowl. What are we talking about here? But if you're playing the percentage game, I'm saying the percentage Eagles by far over Detroit. All right, do you want to also touch on this stupidity that's going around about AJ? Nah, you know what? I might hold off on that for a day or so because I have a lot of thoughts on that. And maybe now is not the best time to explore it. But Colin Cowherd, then there's WEEI up in Boston, had some reporters on talking about Mike Vrabel and Tennessee ties and them being hungry to go get a number 1 wide receiver. I don't have the energy right now for that because it's so bogus and so pathetic. I think I need to reboot and retool for that one myself mentally. So why don't we go to NFL Network? This is Mike Garafolo talking about, and Tom Pelissero, talking about what went down with the Birds.
Yeah, I'm doing the math here. 67 which is what he had left, plus this new one. We got to see the full details. Plus the 15 from last year divided by 5. It's like 16. It's about McCaffrey money, basically. So that's how the Eagles are going to look at this. Like, we're paying. Do the math, Tom. I see you. You're doubting me. I just did it. I trust myself.
Trying.
It's about Christian McCaffrey money. So you're going to hear.
4? Yeah.
So he made 15 last year. We'll do the math together. Come on, let's go. He made 15 last year. All right. He had 12 and a half and 14.7 left, plus the 41. You add it up. It's about, so the Eagles are going to look at it and say, okay, over the course of the deal, over the 5 years, we're paying him at the top of the market. He wasn't at that last year on this extension. This allows him to get up there with the highest paid running backs. It also, and you saw Lane Johnson tweet about, hey, well-deserved. This is going to resonate throughout the locker room because he's a popular guy. He's more than just a running back. He provides so much on game day as far as leadership and what he's seeing on the field, relaying back to the coaches. Well-deserved. Congratulations, Saquon.
I'm just laughing because you're trying to punch the numbers and, waiting for the details and this, that. Even when we get the details, it's going to be hard to compute it all. So I always laugh whenever I hear, even Eagles fans, why would they do this? It's so early. He still had 2 years. I was listening to the midday show on WIP with Hugh and Joe Giglio, and they were debating on, would it be time? This is, again, prior to even the Saquon extension, but would you be willing to give Jalen Hurts an extension to play around with the cap? And, Giglio was saying, I don't think it's worth it because if we pay him into his 30s and he breaks down because he is a running style and, he doesn't seem as fast as he once was and all this stuff, right? I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that was sort of the meat and potatoes of it. And I go, of course I would extend him. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a restructure involved. Yes, because the reason why we are even able to have this discussion of being a powerhouse is because of this. If you didn't do these type of exercises, you wouldn't have the stacked roster that you do. And it's the perfect combination. You're drafting extremely well lately, so you have these cheap guys who are performing at a super high clip, and eventually they will need to get paid. And they will get paid, just like Devontae got paid. That's what they do. Landon Dickerson, they're already talking about Cam Jurgens. What's that going to look like? If you didn't do this, and you get angry because Jalen still has X amount of years, or Saquon was signed already, he's a running back, why are you putting that much of your assets into the running back position? He's still signed, and blah, 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 blah. Then you wouldn't have the team that you enjoy on a week-to-week basis. You want to have a lesser team? Fine. If that's how you want to do it. If you want to complain, then you have to sit there and watch a 9-win football team. You have to sit there and watch a 10-win team that loses in the divisional round. You wouldn't have this. You wouldn't be this great. You wouldn't have AJ and Devontae. So if you were to have Saquon and then maybe not the same level of wide receivers, if the other team did shut down Saquon the way Spags did, I don't know if the passing game looks the same. Because I don't know if whoever it would be on the outside, on both sides here, if they have the same influence, if they have the same impact. And most likely they will not. So I don't get it. If you're in-house, and I say that as in an Eagles fan, and something like this ticks you off. Because the reaction, it was a little all over the place. Why? What? Is he getting too emotionally tied? And then you even got reporters fighting with one another on how much this actually hits the cat. If you guys are no, it means this. No, it means that. Shut up. Howie Roseman only makes moves that benefits the Eagles to some capacity. There is a way where it benefits Saquon and the Eagles. And this is one of those. Where it benefits what the team could do. It benefits the player. It benefits the locker room. It benefits potential free agents. It benefits someone you could trade for and then give them a contract to keep them happy. We went through McNabb and T.O. How was that? You want to deal with that? Or do you want to sit down at the negotiation table early where there's not a peep. Joe Burrow was fighting with this front office. They got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. And right now, they are banging heads, screaming at one another that you better get this thing done. Then they slap a franchise tag on him, spitting in his face. You want to be like that? And then you got Giants and Jets fans not understanding, confused, and at some point actually making fun of Howie, thinking this is stupid. After already thinking that he was stupid to bring Saquon in, even though it resulted in winning a Super Bowl. Clowns. Irrelevant garbage. Hot garbage. Horrible people. Garbage people who don't understand anything. Clueless. I'm going to kick back on my recliner. I'm going to put my feet up, chill, relax, and say, wow, this is remarkable. What else is remarkable is Garage Beer. You all know that. I know that. DrinkGarageBeer.com. It's the best beer on planet Earth. I can't wait to watch my football team play and Saquon Barkley be here for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And guess what? I got a Garage Beer in my hand. 0% IPA, 100% light beer, 1,000% quality. Okay? There's no better beer available. DrinkGarageBeer.com. Okay, that is going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys all so much. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are beautiful people. I love you. Go Birds! We'll be talking very soon.